Okay, I'm going to show you how to use the no frills loot table. I've opened up the demo scene here. In here, it's just got a basic setup. Like I said, no frills. Random roller, this is the object that has the scripts that'll show you how you can use the loot table. On the random roller here, if you check out demo drop loot, you could right click, there's a context menu option here. It takes you go to drop loot, and then you'll see one of those prefabs pop in the scene. So where does that come from and how does this all work? So pretty much all the data exists here on the demo loot table. So if we click that, so we have a few of them for scriptural objects. I'm just going to choose the fourth one because it has the most variation in loot. And you can see it's just filled with these things, test loot. And that's only because I gave it the name here. Any name you give it, it'll go ahead and name it. So you could name your items that way. It has weight, and this is the relative chance it'll drop. And then it has the actual prefab, and then this is the thing that it drops, so it instantiates into the scene. So how do I make my own loot table? Here, I'm just going to go ahead and click the demo loot table. It's going to take me over here to the scriptable objects, so I could click on one of these, and the easiest way to make it is just duplicate it with Control and D. You could also right click and go to duplicate. So I have my new loot table here. I'm just going to erase these. And now my possible loot. I'm going to put 2. And I'm going to have 2 different things that drop. So I'm just going to go up here and lock it. So I could go down to my prefabs. If I want stuff to drop, I probably have a prefab of it. So let's do that one and that one. And with those 2 in there, I could validate the loot table. And what it does there, it gives it the name of the prefab, and then also tells us the percent chance to drop. So how do I change the percent chance to drop? Well, that has to do with the weight here. So this is relative according to all the other loot in the loot table. So if I put 5 here, 5 is higher than 1. If I then validate this loot table, I see the results. It has an 83% chance to drop now versus the 16% of the 1. However, if I bring this weight back up to 5, these numbers are equal, so they have a 50-50 chance to drop. So remember the weight, if I added a third one here, is relative to everything in the table. So if I do 1, 3, and 5 and validate this table, I then, here, let's close that so you can see the percentages easier. I then have an 11, 33, and 55% chance to drop. So if you go to the random roller and open up the demo drop loot here in Visual Studio, you'll see how that works. Basically what I'm doing is I'm getting a loot prefab by getting a random loot prefab. So you call into the loot table. That's this right here. That's those scriptable objects. Call into this function and it's going to return you a random prefab. Now it's just a prefab. So the next step here is I will make an instance of it in the scene. I instantiate that prefab, which I got from the loot table, and then I put it in the drop location. It could be anything here, it's just exposed as a variable here, so you could test it out in the demo scene, and I don't rotate it, so I just do this. And that's it. All right, thank you for your support, and happy making.